Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And just like that, we're off. We're running another brand new live edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. And we are back at it on a Thursday morning. Welcome in, everyone. 256-576-4977. That's how you can be a part of the program this morning. And as we've been starting off each and every day, T-minus 8 days and counting till the 97.7 ESPN The Zone Christmas party. We invite you to join us on Wednesday, December 14th over at Flow Indoor Trampoline Park from 4 to 8. We are literally taking over the whole entire venue. All you got to do is bring a toy to get in, and we are going to help fill the boat. So thanks to our friends over at Talent Heating and Air for helping us do this, along with Rambo Marine of Hazel Green and other sponsors. We could not do this without them. We are literally taking over the building from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. All you need to do is bring a toy to get in, and you can enjoy the entire venue. All the trampoline fun, miniature golf fun, everything. So 4 to 8 on Wednesday, December 14th. If you got a family, 5 or 6 of you want to come, each of you bring a toy. Each of you can enjoy the entire venue for free. Literally come enjoy the entire venue. 256-576-4977. That's how we start the show. And yesterday afternoon, the Huntsville-Madison County Athletic Hall of Fame announced the class of 2023, and what a class it is going into the Hall of Fame. Adam Bass, former UAH pitcher, phenomenal pitcher. He's going in. Darrell Blackburn, David Kane, Kenyon Hambrick, Margaret Holzer, Turner Jackson, Holly Richards, Jared Ross, the late Marvin Stone, Dr. Warren Strickland, John Sumrall, and Gary Wagner. Among those going in, we have an Olympic medal winner, the first NHL player born in Alabama, the first black athlete to play in the Alabama High School Athletic Association state championships, state champions. I mean, we've got everything going in to the Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it was a great class. Led by the late, great Marvin Stone. And that's apropos, and we'll talk about it more tomorrow, but that the field being finalized, but they have moved the Marvin Stone Classic up this year, and it's back over at UAH, and it will be this coming Saturday. So it's great that to have the event on the week that Marvin Stone goes into the Huntsville Athletic the Madison County Athletic Hall of Fame. Let me correct myself. Pardon me. I know you MC that every year, but the Madison County Athletic Hall of Fame, because he is one of the great basketball players we've ever had in our city. Honestly, it just goes to show you how quickly the time goes by, because it's just stunning to me, because I can remember when he was in 8th grade, and now all of a sudden, he was a legend coming out of middle school, and he's in the Hall of Fame. So I just hate that he's not here to see it. We lost him way too soon, overseas to the heart situation, and I hate that. And I know Mark Camara, one of our great sponsors, was very key in his career. I knew him very well. I mean, had him flown back here for his family, and so I just, but I'm glad that his parents will be able to be there to see him inducted. I know he lost his sister as well, but Marvin just was a great player, one of the greats we've had. And then John Sumrall. I mean, how awesome to go in now when you finish your first full year as a head coach.
Is there anybody
11-2, you're the Sun Belt Conference Coach of the Year. You're a 2-time All-State player. My only sad thing, though, is his family will be able to see it go in. I'm talking about John's and Ronnie Massey's, but his high school coach, Ronnie Massey, as we know, lost him to cancer. He won't be there.
Is there anybody that's had a better month than John Sumrall? I mean, you win your conference championship. No. You're one of the 8 finalists for the National Coach of the Year award.
Yeah.
You're on the list now for the Huntsville-Madison County Athletic Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. I mean, he has had a spectacular month.
You get your first ring as a head coach. And,
I mean,
brought to you by Little Debbie and then Diet Coke.
You got another one?
Now, I mean, this went viral yesterday. I just decided to finish off the Diet Coke. I mean, the Diet Dr. Pepper made a lot of headway yesterday.
You got another 2 liter of Diet. Now you got a 2 liter of Diet Coke in here.
Yeah, Diet Coke this time, guys. You got it caffeine free this time. Probably a mistake. Probably needed the caffeine, but
Was it not caffeine free yesterday?
No, I mean that's why you can't find Diet. You can't find caffeine free Diet Dr. Pepper. If you can find it, holler at me, somebody. We found these thanks to Be Rich. These
yes. The
Christmas
chocolate Christmas tree.
We're trying to get a
cakes,
sponsorship from Little Debbie through Brandon. He's trying to hook us up.
Good. Yeah. But Jared Ross is going in.
Yeah.
Jared, the first
history.
Yeah, I mean he scored in it. He's the only UAH player to score a goal in the NHL.
And then Cam Talbot went up after he did as a goaltender, right?
Yep. So Jared Ross and Holly Richards, she's been a part of our show several times. Margaret Holzer, it'll be good to see her again.
Yeah.
All she did in the water was set a world record in the 200-meter backstroke during the 2008 Olympic trials. 22-time All-American, 6 national titles at Auburn. She won 3 medals in the 2008 Summer Olympics at Beijing. So, I mean, and then you got Kenyon Hambrick from J.O. Johnson.
One of the great athletes that's in our city's history. I mean, this was a guy that was a all-state level football player, played in the NFL for a little bit, was a star in the Arena League for the Vipers, and a great player at A&M. And he was also a great basketball player, by the way. Great guard for some really good Johnson teams in the mid-'90s. So, Kenyon Hambrick going in, tremendous athlete.
All right, so there you go. The 2023 Huntsville-Madison County Athletic Hall of Fame. The class will go in on Monday, April 10th over at the Von Braun Center South Hall. So what a class that is going into the Huntsville-Madison County Athletic Hall of Fame. All right, Brandon's with us on the phone lines this morning. Good morning, Brandon.
Yeah, speaking of Christmas tree cakes, what's up?
Well, I was visited by the ghost of Wilford Brimley last night, and he said that Drew is going into the Diabetes Hall of Fame after the 2-liter chug yesterday.
Well, it was diet, man. Diet. It's no sugar.
That makes it all better.
Yeah,
that makes it all better.
It had caffeine in it. Now this stuff doesn't have sugar in it this morning, but it's caffeine free.
That explains a lot of the stuff yesterday on the show.
Oh yeah, the strip clubs in the Vegas and everything.
Yes.
Imagine what he would do if he had some caffeine.
Oh, that's what I did. Yeah, I had some
kind of
caffeine
like the
yesterday.
day you tried coffee for the first time.
Lord, I don't want to remember that. That's over 6 months ago, and then I fell out. Jeez.
The day you fell out, wasn't that the day we did the beer stand?
That was the day you fell down.
Nah, I fell down that day. I mean, that was stupid. I still can't believe I tried to do that.
Good stuff. And hats off to Jay Crane.
Yeah.
Yesterday when he was talking about how proud your 9-year-old self would be of you.
Yeah. Mm.
That was great.
Well, I mean, it was every kid's dream. I mean, Christmas tree cakes and a 2-liter to wash it all down with, and I mean, in the morning. So it was all perfect for him.
Yeah, my kid came in. I was like, check this out, and I showed him the video, and he looked and he said, he's drinking out of a 2-liter. And I said, yeah. He said, that's awesome. He's like, Mom would be so mad. He's 12, so he instantly got exactly what Jay Crane was talking about.
Yeah,
there we go. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
I was trying not to fall out of my chair at my prioritization meeting that I was at. I was doubled over in the chair, and they're like, something you want to share with the rest of us? I said, yeah, diabetes. And they're like, what are you talking about?
Right.
And I said, y'all just missing it.
Yeah. Well, we were glad to be entertaining yesterday. It was an interesting first hour of the show.
Hey, like you said, have fun.
Yeah, you got to have fun.
Every day had got to be serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And we had a little fun yesterday, yeah. But we also got a lot accomplished as well. So
yeah, we did.
We did a lot of work in 2 hours.
Yeah, we were good.
Well, wrestling practice yesterday with my kid, and there's a boy there, and he was talking about people at their school. He's like, nobody ever sees us. He's like, we're single A. And I looked at him and I said, don't think that if you can't ball, that people will find you.
Yeah.
I sent Drew this guy, Shorter College, Shorter Avenue here in Rome, Georgia. I've seen this guy play on Saturdays. Kyle Morlock. He's 6'7", 245-pound tight end.
Oh, yeah, the one, Tennessee, and everybody's recruiting. Yeah.
You don't get much smaller than a small Baptist college on Shorter Avenue in Rome, Georgia.
Right.
And the dude is all over 24/7 sports, and he's got offers from everywhere. It might have something to do with the fact that he's 6'7", 245.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about that.
But the guy can ball.
Yeah.
So I was telling those kids yesterday, just because we're at a single-A school in the middle of nowhere doesn't mean that if you can't ball, people are not going to find you.
Right.
I mean, think about Josh Jacobs, man. If you just got to have the right people behind you, he was an unknown 3-star level prospect at Wyoming and, and Tulsa and some other schools were trying to hide to be in the group of 5. And he had the right people find his film and get it out, and now he's leading the NFL in rushing.
Yeah, after he lived in his car for years.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, January 26th, I'll be over there in Shorter.
Uh-oh.
I'll be over there in Rome, Georgia.
That's right, UAH.
Yep.
What
the Shulman wagon.
John Henry's?
Huh?
What to get you down to John Henry's and get you the either the Big John burger or the bone-in 22-ounce sirloin.
Oh, he can eat a bone-in 22-ounce sirloin. There's no question about that with 3 sides, and it'll be nothing. And then order the bread pudding. I had bread pudding in his honor yesterday.
Did you? From where?
Hey.
At Tim's Cajun Kitchen.
Okay, all right.
We'll give him a plug here.
All right.
It was good.
He may be able to eat a 22-ounce.
Thanks to our great listener, Mike Bentley.
But I don't know if he'll ever be 2-liter drinking straight from it on.
I won't be doing that. All right, Ben.
Appreciate it. Yeah, and the funny thing is, I had something I've never had before yesterday, too.
What was that?
Now, I had Jambo, what they call Jambo. It was the combination of jambalaya and gumbo.
Okay.
It was good.
Thumbs up, thumbs down?
It was good. Thumbs up. I mean, it was
all right.
Big bowl over there. Good stuff.
Your SEC football awards handed out yesterday.
Yeah.
And these are the individual awards. Your Offensive Player of the Year in the SEC is Hendon Hooker.
Hendon Hooker.
No surprise there. I think we're good there. Defensive Player of the Year, no surprise. Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama. No surprise there. Your Freshman of the Year is Quinshon Judkins from Ole Miss.
No surprise.
Your Coach of the Year is Kirby Smart from Georgia.
Yeah, a lot of times the undefeated guy doesn't get it because he's supposed to have a great team.
Right.
But,
Your AP SEC Coach of the Year is Josh Heupel.
Yeah, we talked about
this one voted by the coaches, by the league's head coaches, was given to Kirby Smart.
I mean, I can't have a problem with that. Kirby's undefeated. I mean, if you're undefeated and you beat everybody in the league and you beat Josh Heupel like a rented mule, which he did.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with the AP giving it to Josh Heupel. I mean, a lot of times you'll have a split vote like that with the media and the coaches. So, because Tennessee, I picked them 7-5 in the preseason. I didn't think they were going to do what they did and beat Alabama and end up, one win away. And I still think that's what it was. I mean, if they had been able to beat South Carolina and get to 11-1 at the end, I think they would have had a really good shot to get into the playoff over the Sucks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they, because to me, losing to the number 1 team in the country on the road decisively, I know Ohio State lost to Michigan decisively, but that was at home. And to me, I thought Ohio State looked worse than Tennessee. And so, but again, they both look bad. And then I think the injury cost Hendon Hooker the Heisman Trophy potentially, because if he had been able to get Tennessee to 11-1, rally the troops, win that South Carolina game in dramatic fashion, and with the numbers he put up, to me he would have been. I still can't believe he's not a finalist. I don't care that he got hurt. I still think that's ridiculously stupid. But again, he had a great year.
256-576-49 SEC awards given out. That's your coaches' awards. The all-freshman team and everything like that will get announced later today. Jeff in the Borough with us on the phone lines this morning. Good morning, Jeff.
How you doing, guys? I just want to say, I agree with Tennessee. If they'd have beat South Carolina, they would be in the playoffs. And they would be if they'd have. There's no doubt about that if they'd have won that game. And like I said, Vanderbilt, I don't know if they would be playing the championship game, but they would be. They'd be probably number 4 and playing, or number 3. I don't know what number they'd be, but they'd be in theirs if they'd have beat South Carolina. As far as Hooker, I guess been in New York. I don't know. Tennessee's fans now are mad because of that. Oh, ESPN hates us and all this. Their ESPN hates this game. He should be a finalist. There's like 2 or 3 columns up here. Oh, he should be a finalist anyway. I don't care what he blah 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 and all this stuff. He should be in New York. That guy from TCU, he shouldn't be up there. And all this other business. He's got no business up there and blah blah and all this junk. But I just want to say, guys, we had our Mr. Football stuff up here yesterday. The Titans are one of the main sponsors of it, and they have a little thing in Nissan Stadium. And we do about classification. We've got 6 classes for public schools and 3 for private schools. So don't get me started on the classification game. We got too many of them. But Arian Carr, that kid I told y'all about, that he's got a lot of Power 5 offers now. Alabama and Tennessee, Kentucky. He won Mr. Football yesterday for Class 6A. He had committed to Memphis a long time ago. He decommitted from them, so I don't know what he's going to do as far as of signing, but I'm sure he'll be making a decision here within the next couple of weeks or so as far as the signing period and things. But he came out of nowhere to win it. I don't think anybody thought he would win it before the season started. He's a linebacker and a running back. He plays real good defense, too. A lot of tackles. He's got speed on the edge. I watched him in the playoffs. They gave him the first play. He ran a 54-yard touchdown, and he got on the edge, and wasn't nobody going to catch him. So he can play either position. I don't know where he's going to school, but he's that good. I'm telling you, all you need to see was that one play. Is all you need to see. In the night that I was watching him in the playoffs, Ole Miss assistant was down there watching him, and I told him, it was like 3rd, 4th. I said, you need to go back to Oxford. You were watching the upper card, and he's joking around and stuff. But he's that good. I mean, he really is. He's a good kid. He's not a bragger. He don't do all that stuff. And like his coach said, he's somebody you can root for. He loves him, and he's one of the best players he's ever had play for him. They've had 3 Mr. Football winners at that school now. And so I don't know where he's going to go to school, but he's a good football player.
Yeah, I'd imagine. And I thought they played their state champion. Don't they play those at MT?
No, they used to play him, and they played in the middle years ago.
Yeah,
they moved to Cookville for a while, Tennessee Tech.
Yeah,
and then now they're in Chattanooga.
Right.
Okay.
Moved it around,
okay.
Yeah.
Because the guy wrote a column this last week saying Chattanooga now is on the clock. The Chattanooga's on the clock, and he wants to move to Nashville when they build that stadium.
Oh boy.
That stadium, And people, I've already talked to people now that say they don't want to do that because you put 5,000 people in a 65,000, which I agree, a 65,000 seat stadium. It looks terrible.
Yeah. Hey, what's the what is the attendance look like for the state championship?
I mean,
what do they usually get?
It's usually around I think Chattanooga's seats maybe 20. If they get 10 or 11,000 for one game, that's pretty good. Like we're not going to have it in the Superdome or some Lucas Oil Stadium like it's got other states like Indiana does, or we're not going to do it in AT&T. We're not going to fill a stadium like high school football. We're just not going to do it.
Right.
I mean,
okay.
Tennessee, the other states will. I mean, I know Alabama, y'all move y'all's around. But, I mean, we're just not going to do it. And I've already 2-3 people have already told me, said, they hope they don't move it there. It's just going to be a nightmare if they do. But like I know one coach has told me, he said he wanted it in Knoxville for his experience for the kids of being in a college locker room and dressing and all that stuff and playing in the big stadium like that. But you put it in there, you might well just put it in a cavern, put it in the cave, because ain't nobody going to be there. 100,000 seats, you got 6,000 people in there. I mean, you might well, it's just ridiculous. But I mean, but there's a lot of backlash because I know the council, they're supposed to vote on it last night, the terms of the stadium, and they put it off again now for 2 more weeks. They tabled it again. So they got 2 more. Now, the only thing they did do is they passed they proposed a hotel motel tax. They raising that 1%. People that comes up here stays up here to pay for that stadium. So there's a lot of backlash, and the council wants the people to give more input on it. So there's a lot of, and like I said, they've already fired John Robinson. They should have done that a long time ago. They finally fired him, and I guess Rabel's going to be the face of the franchise because Amy Adams Struck don't want to speak for nobody. She wants Rabel to get there, and people. There's rumors that they say Rabel's going to be the GM and the head coach. I don't know what y'all think about that, but that's the rumor everybody says he's going to be. But Amy Adams Struck wants championships, but they've been waiting 6 years for that. The Titans, her daddy, and she can't do it neither, so they've been waiting a long time for that. But we'll see what they do. But I just want to tell y'all about Carter. He's a great kid and everything. So y'all have a good one, guys.
Thanks, Jeff. Jeff in the Borough with us this morning.
Carter will go to either Alabama or Tennessee. He's already visited Tennessee, and he's going to go to Alabama this weekend. So a lot of people think Bama's in the lead, but Tennessee's still making it very interesting. So, Arion Carter's had a great year, especially, defensively, and that's kind of how he's exploded because he was basically a running back commit to Memphis. But he is an outstanding academic kid as well, 4.0 GPA, really good player, no doubt about that.
All right, we got to get a break in because when we come back, UAH head basketball coach John Shulman will light up the place.
Speaking of Chattanoogas
and Diet Coke and Dr. Peppers and
Diet Mountain Dew too,
everything. John Shulman will roll with us next, coming up on Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Good morning. Just got a new wreck in Countess Road and Rose Ridge. That one's coming in as an injury type. Got one in Decatur at 20 and Oak that still may be trying to clear. And had one reported 65 southbound at the 343. That puts it right about Garrett Road. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, an insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Rambo Marine in Hazel Green is your one-stop shop for all things boating. Whether you are ready to surf with the newest Malibu wake boat or to cruise in a Barletta pontoon, we have a boat ready for you and your family. Rambo Marine provides exceptional service second to none, so that you are ready to hit the water in no time. Stop by Rambo Marine today. We know boats. The Huntsville Sports Commission is responsible for bringing high-level sports entertainment to the Rocket City. In 2023, enjoy events like the CCSA Beach Volleyball Championships, Hometown Lenders Championship, UCI Paracycling Road World Cup, and so much more. To learn more about upcoming events and the Huntsville Sports Commission, visit huntsvillesports.com. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports.
When I chose the garage door company, I did my homework. I needed precision overhead garage door service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision overhead garage door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision overhead garage door service. Call 256-400-4500.
Football season is here, and as always, the best place to catch every game is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill. Humphreys is celebrating by bringing back their game day football specials. $2.75 Miller Lite, Coors Light, Yingling, and $3.50 Yellow Hammer Gold Pints. $4 Fireball shots. Anytime football is on. And don't forget football trivia every Sunday night at 6. The best place to catch all the games all season long is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill.
It's the time of year again when football is in the air, and that means cool, crisp fall temperatures are just right around the corner. It also means that your home's heating system needs to be checked out before you wake up one morning with no heat. So give Environmental Comfort Systems a call or visit our website at envcomfort.com. We are your independently owned American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Alabama license number 92314. Environmental Comfort Systems. That's envcomfort.com.
Southern Fidelity Mortgage. Think of them as a loan for everyone, offering more products than anyone else and the guaranteed lowest rates and costs in town. Of the 2,000 loans that Southern Fidelity Mortgage has pre-approved over the last 10 years, all but one have closed. That's unprecedented in the banking business. For FHA, VA, rural development, and conventional mortgages, for the best mortgage experience in town, it's Southern Fidelity Mortgage.
Call Southern Fidelity Mortgage Company at 256-656-5936.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Join us this afternoon from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Indeed, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And coming up on Friday and Sunday, you can get a dose of UAH basketballs. The Chargers back on the road. They have 3 straight road games coming up. 2 of them coming up here in 2 days, actually. On Friday, they'll take on Delta State on the road. And then on Sunday, they will travel to Mississippi College to take on the Choctaws in what can only be described as one of the most unique, toughest venues to
Ask
play
Brian
in.
Bellamy about that.
Yeah, not a fan of that one is a lot of people that have gone through that place.
The shooting background is interesting.
Well, it's like standing in a planetarium and trying to look at stars and then have everything echo at the same time, but play basketball in it as well. Anyway, big weekend, big weekend for the Chargers.
Yeah, it is, no question. It was a big week last week as they protected their home floor, got a huge win over their arch rival, the Lee Flames, 74-62. Followed that up with an outstanding second half, put Shorter away, 71-51. And so the UAH Chargers are now 8-2, and their head basketball coach is here with his weekly visit, and that is John Schulman. And we always enjoy talking a little UAH Charger basketball with him. Coach, good morning.
Morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. What did you think of your team, Coach? I mean, I know that you knew that game was going to be very, very emotional against Lee, and your team defensively seemed to lock in and play very well.
Well, we tried to get back a little bit to how we kind of played last year. We really didn't know last year what we were going to be like, and you're trying to find your team as you do every year. And we kind of found something in January, February, and that we really liked it. And we thought we were going to have that same identity this year, and then CJ goes out early against Auburn, and we had to kind of change it. And then now CJ's back, and we've tried to tweak it, change it again. But, you know, the best things that y'all have said so far is Lee scored 62 points and Shorter scored 51 points. And that I don't care what you are like offensively, that gives you a chance. If you can defend and you can rebound, you always have a chance to win. And the same thing in any sport. You know, if you got good pitching in baseball, it gives you a shot. If you can hold the other team to a few touchdowns and no big plays in football, you got a shot. Same thing with basketball. You know, if you can hold people to 62 points and 51 points, you have a shot. There's multiple ways to do that. And one of the ways that we're doing that, we're not playing slower. We're just making an effort to throw that thing inside. And let's, you know, I think we are to the point where in all 8 of our wins, we have made more free throws than our opponents have shot. And that's an old Bobby Knightism. But remember, I'm old, so I can go there. If we can continue making more free throws than our opponents shoot, then that gives you a chance to win and be successful, and so far, so good.
Speaking of CJ, you've mentioned that he is back, and he's doing what CJ does, but how hard is it to kind of manage those minutes a little bit so that you have him for the rest of the stretch?
Well, it was hard. You know, we had a 16-minute kind of drop-dead deal at Montevallo, and so we did that. And then, you know, and then CJ, what CJ wants to do is CJ wants to play all the time. He's like a 12-year-old kid. He was like, Coach, let me in. And we really limited his stuff in practice, and he get upset about that. He wanted to be in. Well, after the West Dow game at West Dow, and he played a bunch of minutes, I said, CJ, you know you're going to play now, so let's limit your time in practice, and let's kind of load manage you a little bit in practice. And for the first time, he went, Coach, I think that's a great idea. and so we're not killing him as much. We've changed a little bit how we do our practice, and he was an absolute warrior on Friday night. He wasn't as much a warrior on Sunday. I don't know if that's back-to-back game. But I would say CJ's about at 80, maybe 85%, maybe. And 80% CJ is pretty good. 100% CJ is a conference MVP type player. And that's the goal. The goal is to try to survive right now as much as we can. We have a NCAA Division II mandated, 7 days off. We have to be off from the 21st through the 27th. But after we play on the 18th, we're letting our guys go home. And I just told CJ and Hunter Vic, hey, listen, by the time we get back, I need as close to 100% CJ and Hunter Vic on December the 31st when we play CBU here. And then let's see what we can do January, February. Like I've said many times, I'm a January, February coach. I'm not a November, December guy. And if we can survive right now with the veteran team, Hunter Vic has played a few games. Hunter Vic was an All-South region guy 2 years ago. And so we're little by little, we're trying to get there, but we got to get healthy before we can get there.
No question about it. And, Coach, I know Chaney Johnson had been carrying you when CJ was out, but he struggled in this game against Lee. But you had your son, Max, shot the ball really well. Luke Burnett finds a way to put 16 in the basket. And then, of course, as you know, defensively, when you hold somebody to 20 in the second half, you outscore them 37-20. As you said, that's kind of the backbone of what you're trying to do to win games.
Well, like Chaney, we don't appreciate Chaney as we should. Chaney goes for 29-8 against West Al.
Right.
And we just assume, hey, man, well done. We'll feed you post-game meal. What's the big deal? And you don't realize it's a big deal until he finally has one night that he struggles a bit. And then when he struggles a bit, you go, golly, what he does is amazing what he does for us. And it is amazing what he does for us. But I've always been a coach where you better have 10 to 12 guys who can play. And I hold those guys accountable and responsible for everything they do in practice. I just don't coach the first 5 guys. I coach all 18 of our guys, just in case. And when you get to that point, just in case, CJ goes out, what do? Well, you plug in Dane Harding and you beat LMU, who's ranked top 10 in the country. Mm-hmm. Chaney struggles against Lee, and Lee's really good, and they're your biggest rival. What do? Well, Double D comes in, Dalton Dodd comes in, and has 2 really good basketball games, one against Lee and one against Shorter. And so what do? You just the next man up mentality. And I think that kind of goes back to how we prepare and practice. Nobody is immune of my wrath. Nobody is immune. Even Scott and Drew, you are immune because we don't ever see you. All right, but Scott and Steve are not immune. And if Steve orders has a bad order on the bus, or Scott screws up a pizza, I call him out on it. Dadgummit. But everybody is held accountable, and that means that when it's their turn in a game, or their turn, they are more ready than you'd ever imagine, because they've dealt with carrying a heavy ball in practice when they screw up or raise or miss a box out. And so that's what I love for our basketball team. We talk about it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to win a championship. It doesn't take 5 guys to win a championship. You ain't gonna win a championship with 5 guys. You're gonna win it with a basketball team, and you never know. I can go back last year. Daniel Saylor at West Georgia carries us. Dane Hardy makes a big 3 at West Florida. Double D, Dalton Dodd helped us. Austin Leslie's second half against West Al in the tournament. Bang, bang, over and over and over and over and over again. And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, no question. And let me just mention this: 9 rebounds for Dalton Dodd against Lee.
Yeah, what
a couple of huge offensive boards late. Huge offensive boards late. And if you'll just play hard and go to the glass, good things will happen.
Yeah, he was great 2 games there at home for Dalton Dodd, really. I mean, coming off the bench and giving a spark when it just kind of felt awkward that whole time against Shorter inside Spraggins Hall. Just felt a little different on Sunday.
Well, listen, and when you have that feeling, you're like in a panic the whole time. Like it was a 9-point game, like the entire game, and we couldn't get away from them. And finally, listen, Double D's crew, Double D and Dane Harding and Tanner, I guess the other Schulman, finally made us some shots and got us out of that mess on Sunday. But I'm just going to tell you, it's hard. It's hard coming off a emotional league game. It's hard. Sunday afternoon games are difficult. In my eyes, it's not kind of normal to be playing first semester on a Sunday afternoon at 4:00. But you do what you got to do. But like I said, you better hold serve at home, and you better figure out ways. You better figure out ways to win when you don't have your A game. And if you can do that, most people are going to lose when they don't play well. You got to figure out a way to win when you don't play well. If you can do that, you're going to win when you play well. It's just it is what it is. You got to figure out ways to win when you don't play well, because you're not going to play great every night. It just doesn't happen.
No, you're not. And Dalton Dodd 10-8 on Sunday, and then of course his dad taught him how to shoot. Tanner Schulman 3 threes for UAH as they get that 71-51 win.
I hear Scott laughing in the background.
Yeah, I am. He just said, that you've taught them all how to shoot.
Well, hey, all the Schulmans are shooters, man.
That's right.
Listen, I take no credit for any of that, because this Schulman wasn't one. I coach how I played.
So this must be the wife.
All heart and effort. And I was told at a young age that I had no talent. I said, well, if I don't have talent, I still want to be somebody. I still want to do something. Well, son, you're going to have to do it with your heart. And that's good enough for me. So we, hopefully to goodness, our team takes my personality in some ways, I guess in some ways, not in all ways. But I want to play with heart. I want to play with effort. I want to compete. I want to be tough, hard-nosed. And then if we make shots, we make shots. And if we don't, we'll figure out ways to try to just get another point that another team doesn't have. But like when you're going on the road, and we lost, we got swept on this road swing last year. And it's really difficult to win on the road in college basketball.
Yeah.
College football, the biggest and baddest win. College basketball is very difficult to win on the road, especially a conference game on the road. So you better, pad head summit, defense and rebounding travel, and they do. And so we're going to have to go down there and defend, and we're going to go rebound the ball. And Malik Cartwright's back for Delta State. They just beat a good Montevallo team last Sunday at Montevallo, something that we didn't do. So we're going to have to be prepared at Delta State. And then, like Scott said, we've never won. I've never won at MC. We've only played down there twice in my 3 years. But you talk about a difficult place to play. That is a really difficult place to play. And we leave later on today, and we'll be back Sunday night, and it's a tough road swing. And we got to figure out ways, if we want that ring at the end of the season, you got to figure out ways to win on the road.
Yeah, 6 of the next 9 are on the road.
And, Coach, for our listeners, stylistically, compare these two squads. First, what does Delta do that's so difficult to prepare for?
Well, Delta, they've got 2 post guys. One, Malik Cartwright, that if you don't double him, he gets to the basket. He's very patient. He gets to the basket, jumps up about 14 feet, just sticks ball in the basket. The most uncanny thing you've ever seen. And then the guy, his running partner, Sam Smith, is about 6'8", 270. And those dudes are humongous in there, and they can really score the ball in there. And then they got shooters on the perimeter. So Malik Cartwright's been out all season long with the ankle, and miraculously, God, he's back for the UAH game. That's kind of how it works. And so he's been one of the better players in our league for the last 3 years, and they always get up for UAH, as everybody does. And so, but they're very good offensively with the 2 bigs in the perimeter. And then you go into MC, and they take pride in being mean, tough, nasty. Defensively, they're unbelievable. They were getting votes for regional rankings before last weekend. They went on the road and got beat at AUM and at Montevallo, and before that, they were getting votes for regional rankings. So they were having a lot of success early. They're coming off of 2 L's. People are, in this thing, you think, people are down in the dumps because they came off 2 L's. It makes you hungrier when you come off an L. It's not the other way around. If you've got anything in your soul, when you're coming off an L, you become hungrier. You don't get down the dumps. The teams that get down the dumps after they get L's, those are the teams that finish in the bottom of the league. And so we're fully expecting, Delta State to be ready and MC to be hungry. And we understand how tough a road swing is because we got veterans. And we understand. Don't think that I won't let them remind them many times that, we got swept on this road swing last year. And a lot of people will get swept on this deal. And if we want to do something special, we got to figure out a way to win on the road. And it's always difficult, but so far, I guess we're 1-1 in true road games. I'm not counting Auburn because that was unfair. He had bigger guys than I did, so it's not
just
fair.
A little. They weren't much. They weren't much bigger.
Exhibition game, Scott. Exhibition game that didn't count. But the other two games were on a neutral floor. So far, I tell you this, we are getting some help. Nova Southeastern, they're already like 62-0 for the year. It's ridiculous what they do. So they're undefeated. Lincoln Memorial's ranked number 1 in their region, and they're like 8 or 9-1. St. Leo and Tampa both beat Embry-Riddle last week. So in one little thing, we're number 2 in our region, ranking in our region behind Nova Southeastern. We just got to keep on doing what we do and keep on playing good and keep on getting better and trying to get healthy. And then, listen, January, February, it's been our time to shine, not right now. And so if we can survive right now and then get ready to roll, we're awfully excited for the rest of the year.
Yeah, we are, and I was channeling my inner John Schulman yesterday, Coach. I brought a 2-liter of Diet Dr. Pepper. I know it's not Diet Mountain Dew, but I was getting my caffeine.
His breakfast diet yesterday during the show was a 2-liter of Diet Dr. Pepper and chocolate Christmas tree cakes.
Brought to us by one of our listeners.
Well, I've seen Drew's body.
Yeah,
and so
it's a Christmas tree cake.
All I'm saying is that me and you both, that Dr. I'm a Diet Coke and a Diet Mountain Dew.
Well, I got Diet Coke today in your honor, Coach. 2-liter here.
That's good. You just keep chugging that, and you go with some good fried bologna and some hot dogs and burgers.
Man. Fried bologna is awesome.
Drew,
yeah.
Maybe one day you can look like me. Your body can look like mine, and that's a lofty goal, but I think you can attain it.
Yeah, I'll be rolling then. Thank you, Coach. We appreciate the visit as always.
Listen, guys, we appreciate you as always. I know I bust your tail, but boy, let me just say what y'all do for athletics and sports and these kids and everybody up here in North Alabama. We say thank you, and we'll talk to you next week. Scott, we'll see you in Mississippi, correct?
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. And Drew, I guess we won't see you in Mississippi. We'll see you. I guess we'll see you next year sometime.
You will definitely see me, Coach. I will be in Hoover though on Friday with Huntsville High.
Hey,
appreciate it.
All right, good luck to the Crimson, and I'll talk to y'all later. But y'all be good. Take care.
Thanks. Of course, today's interview brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. Give them a call today, 256-881-5151, to experience that SportsMed difference. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives, and they are the official training providers for the UAH Chargers, helping so many of them right now. Hunter Vick, C.J. Williamson, get back on the court faster than ever. It is SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. So give them a call today.
Big 2-game road trip coming up, and we'll see if they can reverse it from last year, because I know there was a lot of frustration at Delta State, and then, as you said,
there was
at Mississippi College.
There was, and both of them are hard places to play, especially Mississippi College. Yeah. I tell you, it is. It's like when you pull up, it looks like a big, gigantic golf ball on the outside.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
And when you go inside, it feels like you're at a planetarium, and you're going to be laying on the ground and looking at stars, and you can stand at the center court, and you can whisper something, and somebody will like 50 feet away can hear what you're saying because it echoes throughout the entire building.
It does.
All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, going to wrap up Hour 1. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Just got a wreck. Parkway and Green Cove. That one's coming in as an injury type. Got one on Countess at Rose Ridge. That's near Baltimore Hill. No injury, but it's in the curve there. And we got one in Decatur, 20 in Oak. They may still be trying to get it cleared out of the way. Got a stall vehicle, Martin Luther King east of 53. HPD's going to be with it till a record gets there. Beginner to fitness fanatic. The YMCA has everything you'll need and free child care. Join today and enjoy over 200 group classes, swimming pools, and awesome fitness equipment. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Hey there, folks. Bob Baumhauer here. We're celebrating 40 legendary years here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. And to kick this off, we're coming in hot with our all-new Alabama Hot Chicken. Fresh southern fried chicken breast smothered in a blend of tangy, immune-boosting herbs and spices with a spicy finish. Served up with a side of homemade smoked Gouda cheese grits, Miss Mary southern greens, and garlic bread. And there's plenty more where that came from. Stop in today and celebrate with us. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From Coleman to Fayetteville and all points in between.
Son, pull the hammer back. Smokey's coming at you in a plain white wrapper.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Welcome back, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. And it's always interesting because social media gives you just a glimpse of some individuals and everything. Dylan Johnson, Mississippi State. He's in the transfer portal. No big deal, okay?
Right.
No big news. But, the whole thing now is you put out this whole paragraph of, hey, I love it. Thank you, Bulldog Nation, for making me great. I'm going to da-da-da-da-da, yada. And then, by the way, I'm going to put my name in the transfer portal, and I am going to finish my career, but I'll always be a Bulldog at heart. Right. Well, Dylan Johnson took it a step further, and you read his little goodbye thing, and 3/4 of it is perfect, except for the last paragraph. And he says, he goes, with that being said, since I am not very tough and Leach is glad I'm leaving, I will be entering my name into the portal with the hopes of finding a more fit playing environment for me.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
So he's taking a shot at his former coach.
Yeah, takes a shot at Mike Leach going out the door in this transfer portal announcement.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If you're meeting with the coach, you're probably asking to go into the portal because you can't just go in. There has to be a process of getting into the portal, and I would imagine you have to get permission from said university to officially be in there.
Right.
And so you meet with the head coach, and then he decides to air the dirty laundry. Now, hey, good luck getting help from Mike Leach, like from the standpoint of him putting in a good word for you elsewhere. And I'll just say this, it's probably not wise what the kid did, because guess what? If you go to your new place, all of a sudden you don't like him, then I guess they think you're going to air your dirty laundry out on social media then. So guess what, moron? You're on the list.
Yeah, I read that.
Just temporarily, because we don't really know who you are, because you probably suck anyway. But like I said, you don't really air your dirty laundry on social media. I think that's something you keep behind closed doors.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, you can't. I mean, whatever. So here's something for you. SEC quarterbacks. There are some that have made up their minds on what they're going to do, and you tell me what you think the rest are going to do. Will Levis is the NFL. Anthony Richardson is going to the NFL.
Man, they got both of them in mock first round.
I know.
I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on.
KJ
the Twilight
Jefferson.
Zone.
KJ Jefferson is coming back. Okay, say now here is the rest. You tell me if they're going or staying. Spencer Rattler, South Carolina. You're
staying.
Feeling.
I don't care about the last 2 games. It was great, but you got to do it for a whole year, man. I mean, who knows? He may have drank a whole 2-liter of Diet Dr. Pepper or whatever the hell, but you need to do it for more than just 2 games.
Will Rogers, Mississippi State, has yet to make up his mind.
He's staying. Give me a break with that.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
I mean, I'm just saying. Well, just think about it.
I know.
When you're coming out of Leach's system,
right?
It's a system court. You're a system QB. It's like what the old game managers before Saban stopped playing wide ball, which was tight formations and everything. They don't give you a ton of credit for throwing for a bazillion yards in that system. So I don't see Will Rogers being a high draft pick, so I would think he would come back.
All right, Jaden Daniels. Now we talked to we were talking
I
to
think
yesterday.
Sonny's right.
Sonny
I think
shipped yesterday.
I think Jaden's coming back. He still needs to make more progress. And as we said, Nussmeier looked like a gunslinger, but they were down 4 touchdowns, and he still tends at times to make bad decisions. They may give him a legit shot to compete with Daniels in the spring, but I would think Jaden Daniels would come back.
And then finally, Bryce Young. That's the last one of the ones. I mean, I saved it for the last because it's the hardest decision to come up with.
It's difficult, man. Go out and be a top 3 pick. Maybe be the first pick.
Or come back to
It's
Alabama.
a harder decision to decide to play in the freaking bowl game. I mean, he's making $5 million or whatever, $3 to $5 million in NIL. So, yeah, he could come back for another year and live comfortably over at North River Yacht Club or whatever and go to Hawks games and be seen with hot women and all that stuff. But, I mean, he doesn't need to because I'm sure he probably wants to go and play in the NFL, and that's the goal.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he's accomplished all he can. I mean, he didn't win a national championship as a starter. That's not all his fault. You know, when you got a coaching staff and half of them's mutton heads and you're not doing a good enough job of preparing your football team, at least to the Alabama standard, that is. Now, I wouldn't say they're a terrible coaching staff because you won 10 games, but when you're trying to compete with Kirby Smart and win a national championship, and Kirby's trying to win back-to-back now and really put Herschel in the background, again, that's what you're held to a higher standard, and this Alabama coaching staff wasn't up to that. But Bryce Young certainly was, and I don't usually agree with narcissists like David Pollack, but I do this time because he said he thought Bryce Young was better this year because he didn't have as good a supporting cast, and I tend to agree with him, and I guess hell's freezing over.
Well,
Brought to you
true.
by Caffeine-Free Diet Dr. Pepper. Always recycle, everybody.
I don't know. I was just going to say, I enjoyed the time in college. I'm sure having hot women and being able to go to basketball games wherever you choose would
But you
be a
didn't
good
make $3 to
thing.
$5 million in NIL and live on North River, though.
No, I did not. I lived in Thunder Ridge Apartments.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, he could stay, but
Cedar Falls.
he might be the first pick.
He might be. Or Will Levis might be the first pick.
Don't even talk. And maybe Jeff from the Borough in his fantasy draft.
Right.
Speaking of a dumbass. And by the way, I got sources, Jeff. I know. You're a gutless coward.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel and McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by the lawyer.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning from the traffic center. Working an injury wreck, Parkway and Green Cove. Got one on Countess at Rose Ridge. That's in the curve near Baltimore Hill, and they're trying to clear 120 in Oak in Decatur. I don't think that one was an injury type. Stall vehicle, Martin Luther King east of 53, waiting on a wrecker there, and the fog situation has improved quite a bit. The $6 big box is back at Popeyes with 2 pieces of that hand-breaded Louisiana seasoned chicken, 2 sides, and a buttermilk biscuit. Popeyes University and Jordan, 72 and Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky this afternoon. I do think we are going to get a couple of glimpses of sunshine. Temperatures still going to be well above where we should be this time of year. Highs easily climbing into the low and mid-70s. A couple of isolated showers certainly can't be ruled out through the heart of the afternoon, but it does look like many of us might actually spend a good chunk of the day dry. Better opportunities for rain as we head into the overnight, and then early Friday morning, those opportunities for rain are going to continue through Friday afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
3 NBA games tonight. The Clippers a 2.5-point underdog on the road against the Heat. Houston a 1-point favorite in San Antonio against the Spurs. The Nuggets a 1-point favorite at Portland. Philadelphia will host the Army-Navy game for the 89th time, the 123rd all-time meeting on the football field between the service academies Saturday afternoon. Navy going for back-to-back wins in the series. They're a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under set at 43.5. Tonight, the Raiders and Rams kicking off Week 14. Las Vegas a 6.5-point road favorite. The Falcons and Saints each on a bye week. They will play each other in New Orleans a week from Sunday. Red Hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwhiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwhiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Hi, good morning. Welcome back into Talking Ball. It's hour number 2 here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond with you. We got 60 minutes on the clock. One more hour to go on our Thursday edition show. Again, mark your calendars, December 14th. That is our 97.7 ESPN The Zone holiday Christmas party over at Flow Indoor Trampoline Park. All you have to do is bring a toy, and thanks to our presenting sponsor, Talent Heating and Air, we are going to try to fill the boat from Rambo Marine, Hazel Green, and all toy donations will go to Toys for Tots. We're literally taking over the venue. Literally from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock on December 14th at Flow Indoor Trampoline Park. All you have to do is bring a toy, and you get in for free the entire night. You can enjoy the entire evening for free, not just an hour, not just a 2-hour event. You can come and literally be on their trampolines from 4 to 8, miniature golf from 4 to 8. You can play basketball indoors from 4 to 8. All of that stuff. All you got to do is bring a toy for Toys for Tots, and we are literally taking over the venue. So get on out there on December 14th on Wednesday. This coming Wednesday, we want to see everybody out there. College basketball rearing up to go, and the fun part about this is, and Kelvin Sampson from Houston said, hey, look, last year we dropped a game. We dropped these midseason games. You're going to drop some games, but it's okay because you're just trying to get better along the way. Alabama and Houston renew their series on Saturday, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. That's a top 10 matchup.
It is. It's going to be maybe the biggest matchup in college basketball this weekend on ABC, and it'll be a 2 o'clock tip-off in the afternoon. Our next guest will be all over it with Chris Lee, and their YouTube channel is got, I think, over 5,000 subscribers now, and that's Southeastern 14 and Southeastern14.com. He also does a lot of work for Blue Ribbon College Basketball, which is one of the Bibles in the hoops world, and that is our good friend who's been with us throughout our time on Talking Ball and ESPN 97.7 The Zone, and that is Blake Lovell, a great Nashvilleian who's with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Blake, I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays to you. How are you doing this morning?
Yeah, doing well, guys. Good to talk to you as always.
Yeah, and your thoughts on this Houston-Alabama matchup. It was a great game last year that Alabama won in Coleman Coliseum. Alabama's highlight last year and their high point was probably the Gonzaga win on the road and then this win at home. This Alabama team, though, is 7-1. They're ranked in the top 10 in the country. They've they're playing with more grit and tenacity and defending, I think, much, much better. And they'd had a really good run in Portland when they won 2 out of 3. This may be their toughest test yet, going to Houston, a super physical team, and an Alabama team. And Blake, you may be able to answer this. I don't ever remember this as a longtime follower of Alabama basketball, of the Crimson Tide having a chance to beat 2 number 1 teams in the same season.
Yeah, that would be quite an accomplishment, obviously. And you mentioned it, Drew. I mean, look, with Houston, I think of course, you watched them play last year there, and you kind of saw how that game played out. But, it's still a Kelvin Sampson team. Even though that game last year, I think it was 83, 82, something like that. This is still a Houston team that's going to be driven by its defense. And I think when you just look at how they play defense, I don't think they've allowed more than 56 points in a game this season. And what's interesting about that is, they're 9-0, but it's not like they've just played a bunch of terrible teams, right? They've beaten Oregon, they've beaten a solid Kent State team, St. Mary's. Oral Roberts is not bad. I mean, they're doing this defensively against some solid teams, and I think that's kind of the point here. Now, obviously, I believe Alabama will be the best team they played to this point, but it's still something where I'm very curious to see kind of how that unfolds in terms of, they are going to force turnovers, and I think at times, just with Alabama's style, we've seen it. Like they're a team that will turn the ball over a little bit just based on how they play, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things. But also look at it, and these are 2 really good offensive rebounding teams, and we just keep talking about that Alabama's rebounding ability with all these different guys, and these are 2 teams that are going to go to the glass, get some offensive rebounds, try to get some easy offense out of that. And so I think that's it. It's for me. I know we kind of made fun a little bit, or at least I did, and I wasn't doing it in a malicious manner in terms of how Alabama finished that North Carolina game, some of their offensive possessions. But this is one of those games where you can't have a lot of those offensive possessions. You've got to pretty much be pretty focused against a Houston team that is going to make you work for every single thing out there. And I think for Alabama, it's taking care of the ball, shot selection. To me, those are the 2 biggest things in this game.
That Houston style, is it as fast as Alabama's?
No.
Well, I think the way Houston wants to play is, and it's the way Kelvin Sampson has always wanted to play, and it's just, I think it's kind of the way, like they're going to make you work, and I think they're going to make take as much time as they can to do that, and I think that's what they've been very successful at. Because look, this is I don't want to say it's a good offensive team, but like, are they an elite offensive team? I don't know about that, because I think the thing is like they're just so good defensively that it makes their offense so much easier. And so they're going to be pretty methodical in terms of
grind you a little bit. They want to control the pace, right?
And that's it. Like, and I think that's the best word, Drew. Like, it's a grind. Like, anytime you play Houston, that's why I think last year's game, I would not really look at last year's game as a good indicator of how this game is going to play out, because I do think obviously you have 2 different teams, but I think the way Houston, is playing now in terms of what we've seen from them defensively and just that continued sort of cerebral sort of style that they want to play. That's where, again, I think this is obviously it's a big test for Alabama just in that regard, but I think it's also a big test in terms of the maturity and sort of just the the discipline for this particular Alabama team.
Yeah, and it's going to be really an interesting, and because this Alabama team, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. You've watched them a little bit. They do have a dude, and I know you tweeted that several days ago, watching him in Portland, but that Brandon Miller is that dude. They have a guy that can get you 25 to 30 if he's feeling it, even against a team like Houston, though Houston's going to make it very tough on him, I'm sure. But in this Alabama team is deeper, and they are doing the grimy things like defense and rebounding, which last year's group wasn't nearly as proficient at.
No, and that's the thing, is like this is a much better defense team. Like that's been the difference for me. It's not just having a guy like Brandon Miller, which has been a big part of it, but it's just they're so much better defensively than they were last year. And I think that's what, when you have a team like that that's defending better, and really I think specifically when you look at just kind of what they've done in the paint, having the size they have, making it really hard for teams to score, inside of the perimeter. And I think that's something where, that's going to be a big part of this particular game, but it's obviously going to be a big part of not just this upcoming stretch against Memphis and Gonzaga too, but really throughout all of SEC play. Like it's something where I think this is a strength now in the Alabama team. Is last year you never had any idea, they could give up 10 points and 30 seconds. It just felt like, because it was just a team that just was not there defensively on a consistent basis. But this team, I think, again, it's kind of they'll make Houston work for their points. And I think that's a good thing for Alabama, because, again, it's not just, there are going to be some nights where your shooting's not falling, and I think you need something else to lean on. But this team's been able to lean on their defense. Like you said, Drew, this is just a deeper team in general, and being able to do those things like play defense, rebound, those are things Alabama's excelling at right now.
It'd be another win against a number one team for Alabama this season. They've already got one against North Carolina. But what is going on there with the Heels? 4 straight losses. Alabama part of that 4 straight loss trend for North Carolina.
Lord, that's like if Alabama fans were panicking when they lost in football. I wonder what North Carolina basketball fans are doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of mentioned it a minute ago in terms of like Kelvin Sampson talking about how, you're just going to drop some of these games sometime. I mean, North Carolina's just, it's not been an easy schedule, right? And the thing that's been in common, I guess, with all of these games is, they've all been away from home, right? Like, they've not had a traditional home game in this stretch here against Iowa State, Alabama, Indiana, and Virginia Tech. So I think it's one of those things where, when everything goes wrong, and I feel like that's kind of what's happened here for North Carolina. It's been the product of having that target, right? I mean, you come into the season as the number one team. You kind of look at this part of the schedule, and we always said this was going to be really tough. You wouldn't have thought they would be 0-4 in this stretch, but still playing some good teams. And, whether it is in Alabama, that's clearly a top 10 team. You look at what Indiana's done to this point now at 8-1. Obviously Iowa State, we know what they're capable of. And so I think it's just kind of, it's falling into that spot of, hey, you're the top dog here. Like, you're North Carolina, and you're back to being North Carolina. You've got that target every single time you play, and they've just not been able to kind of put it all together in these past 4 games. I think they'll figure it out. I think they'll be okay. But yes, it's very unusual to see Carolina with a 4-game losing streak in non-conference play.
Well, I've got to ask you, too, because, of course, if anybody knows my background, they know I'm a huge fan of the Hurley family because of being a Dookie and then what his father meant to me to high school coaching. But Dan Hurley, quietly, what a job. UConn's been one of those under-the-radar stories early in the season, but they go to Florida last night and just nuke the Gators.
Yeah, to me, I think Houston and UConn are not the same, but you want to talk about a grind.
Yes.
When you play those two teams, I can't imagine there are 2 other teams in the country that are harder to play against than these 2 right now. And I think, like we said, you look at what they've been able to do, like, what you're going to get from a Dan Hurley team. And I think that's kind of what we've established now. Like, you understand with this particular roster that he has, you know what you're getting. They're going to be very aggressive. They're going to be hard-nosed. They're going to make you work. They're going to kind of do it on both ends, like whether it's offense or defense. They have a plan. They execute their plan. And I think for Florida, the Gators, I don't think are going to be just there just yet. Even this, you go beyond the UConn game, this is the team I think is going to be very inconsistent this year. I don't think Todd Golden maybe has all the pieces just yet. But yeah, UConn, I put right up there. Like right now, like I said, if you had to tell me, who are the 2 teams that will grind their way to the NCAA championship, I don't know how you could pick anyone other than Houston and UConn right now, just based on how they play. Not the fact that they're both undefeated, but it's how they play. And yeah, this was just something that Florida had no match for in terms of being able to match that physicality and just how the Huskies want to play.
Yeah, you don't look now, but Tennessee's top 10. Rick Barnes has another talented squad showing some promise early on in the preseason.
Yeah, the balls were – it's funny because, like, a couple games in the season, I'm looking up and I'm like, oh, yeah, they shot another 3. And I'm like, my goodness, why are they shooting so many threes? And I think it was, the Colorado game, they shot like 37. I want to say against Tennessee Tech, it was in the 40s. And I'm thinking, why is this team, with how it's made up, shooting so many threes? But since then, they figured it out and have realized that they're not an elite three-point shooting team. And I think that's been the difference for Tennessee is, obviously, we always know, basically, if you have to pick one thing that you're going to get 100% guaranteed from a Rick Barnes team, they're going to play defense. And this team is doing that. They're playing defense, but I also think they're starting to realize that offensive execution, which has been a problem at times in the Rick Barnes era at Tennessee, they're starting to figure out what they need to do to be good on that side of the floor, and it's not shooting a lot of threes. I think it's getting everyone involved. Obviously, they've got a lot of talent on that roster, and they've got some experience mixed with some new guys. And so, the ball is playing much better now. They've got some pretty interesting tests coming up here. They got Maryland on Sunday. They go to Arizona next week. So, I think this is a Tennessee team that looks like one of the SEC favorites at this point.
Yeah, they really do. And then I know, of course, the Vanderbilt Commodores are close to your heart. They're in your backyard. They got a pretty good win over Pitt, even though it's been a little bit of a struggle with this reconfigured roster without Scottie Pippen Jr. For Jerry Stackhouse.
Yeah, I think Vanderbilt's still a team that just, I feel like they kind of had an identity with Scottie Pippen there, and now I think they still don't know what that is. And I think they're 9 games into the season, and I mean, it's a Jerry Stackhouse team. I feel like we're saying the same thing about a lot of these teams. They're going to defend, but offensively, it's just a different beast without Pippen kind of running the show for that many years. And so I think they're starting to kind of figure some things out there. They've gotten a couple close wins. Wofford wasn't a bad win. They find a way to beat Pitt there on the last second free throws. And I don't know how much else we learn about Vanderbilt before they start SEC play on the 1st of January, but I think this will be a team that, by the time we get to February, you probably won't love to play them, but I don't know that I think Vanderbilt has the type of ceiling, of maybe an NCAA tournament bubble team that I may have thought on paper heading into the season, but we'll see how they kind of evolve on offense.
And so, what are we going to learn? Because Alabama will have them a few days later, about on the 13th. What about this road trip for Auburn to Memphis? How are we in this hoops giving? What do we? I guess actually that's in Atlanta.
It's in Atlanta.
Is it not?
Yeah,
okay, my bad. As soon as I saw the hoops giving,
yeah.
What are we going to learn about Auburn? Do you think in this matchup?
Well, I think Auburn's a team that here we go once again. They play defense. They've done pretty well on that side of the floor. I think Auburn's still kind of a team, not the same as Vanderbilt to that extent, but I still think they're trying to figure out their offensive identity too.
Right.
And, and this is the thing is like, I think we were just so accustomed for a while there to looking at Bruce Pearl teams, just assuming they were going to shoot the 3 well, but they haven't shot it that well in a while. And, this team's shooting 29% from 3. They're not a great free throw shooting team. Those are 2 things I think you circle once you get to March, because those are not great trends, but I think they're still figuring some things out there. But what do you say about a team that's 8-0 and that's some pretty solid wins to their credit to this point. So I think this will be, kind of an interesting test for them against Memphis because, it's a Memphis team that certainly, you look at in terms of they've got some depth, I think, in terms of how they want to play. They've got some experienced guys on their roster as well. They're going to, kind of like Auburn, they're going to do most of their damage, I would think, in terms of they're not going to shoot a lot of threes and probably be successful there. So, I think this will be a game that's really played in the paint, and I think for Auburn defensively, as usual, I think that'll be kind of their calling card here in terms of kind of boosting them and being able to give them a chance to win against a good Memphis team that certainly is doing some things well right now. But I think this is probably Memphis' toughest challenge to this day too. So.
No question. And then finally, I've got to ask, we've got a local tie with this, but. And we're talking to Blake Lovell, Southeastern14.com, talking some SEC basketball. What about, are we going to finally figure out who Missouri is? They haven't played the most difficult schedule, but they're going to get their oil check Saturday.
Yeah, I'm, as everyone knows, I'm pretty high on Dennis Gates, and I think he's going to do a really good job there. But, 9-0 is 9-0, and I know they've not played the best schedule, but I think if you actually watch them play, their offensive ability is undeniable. They're kind of the opposite of a lot of these teams we talked about in the SEC, where offensive ability to me is just through the roof, but defensive ability, not so great. And I think that is one where, this is your big test, is you get a Kansas team that is going to score some points. Can you defend well enough to beat a team like that? I think Missouri offensively is going to be good enough to be in every single game they play in this season. And maybe I'm wrong about that when maybe they get against some of these teams like Tennessee and Auburn and such, but that really just grinds you out defensively. But I think they're going to put up some points, and I think it's just a matter of can they get enough stops, because that's kind of been the difference so far is they've been able to score against some of these lesser teams, but can they get the stops now against the more elite offensive teams? And I think that's going to be the big question for them on Saturday.
Certainly will. And I know you guys, Chris Lee and Blake Lovell, are going to be all over this slate of SEC basketball. Let everybody know how to connect with you guys. And, again, much congrats on the exploding YouTube channel. I know it continues to gain subscribers. I know football season was a huge success, and, of course, the postseason in football coming up. But SEC basketball, SEC baseball, let everybody know how to connect with you guys.
Yeah, I always appreciate it, guys. Like you said, southeastern14.com. You can check it out there, or you just go to YouTube, search for Southeastern 14. A lot of, bowl stuff coming up. We just recorded our Georgia-Ohio State preview last night. That'll be up here in a couple of days. So lots of stuff there, constant SEC basketball stuff. So if you just go to YouTube, search for Southeastern 14, you can subscribe there, and everything else, you can follow me on Twitter at @TheBlakeLevel.
Thanks, Blake.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Blake. Good stuff there. A lot of college basketball coming up.
And speaking of basketball, we know what the big news of the day is with but I think it's interesting because Micah Parsons, we're talking about maybe the best defensive player in the NFL.
Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, he chimes in because of there's a very highly decorated Marine that is still.
Jake Crane also has chimed in on that as well, and Jake joined our program yesterday.
He's been over in Russia prison for 4 years.
Yeah, Jake
and
Crane,
he's still there.
Jake Crane says, "Dear Brittany Griner," this is from Jake Crane, not us.
Right.
He says, "I hope you now appreciate the country that traded you for a terrorist and chose you over a Marine."
Exactly, because as we know, there's a well-known arms dealer that's being traded for Brittany Griner.
Yeah, what was his nickname?
Since February, the Merchant of Death.
Merchant of Death, yes.
Yeah.
Paul Whelan, I believe, is the Marine that is still being held captive by the Russia, I guess you could say, police, or by the Russian Federation or whatever. Brittany Griner freed in a prisoner exchange. That is the big
been over there since
February.
Story.
This morning. Yeah, a lot of mixed feelings. On that one all across the board. All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, more Talking Ball. 256-576-4977.
No.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck on the Parkway near Green Cove. That's reported as an injury type. Had one on Countess at Rose Ridge. That's near Baltimore Hill in the curve. And the wreck indicator at 20 and Oak should be pretty well wrapped up now. Expert heart care backed by advanced technology. When you need cardiac care, you need the Heart Doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Rambo Marine in Hazel Green is your one-stop shop for all things boating. Whether you are ready to surf with the newest Malibu wake boat or to cruise in a Barletta pontoon, we have a boat ready for you and your family. Rambo Marine provides exceptional service second to none so that you are ready to hit the water in no time. Stop by Rambo Marine today. We know boats.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked the reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life, more important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The season is here. It's Woody Anderson Ford's 2022 year-end sales event, and we've got the best selection we've had in a long time. Nearly 400 vehicles to choose from and over 130 F-150s. We bet you'll find exactly what you're looking for. And while interest rates continue to climb, at Woody Anderson Ford today, you can lock in 2.9% financing for up to 72 months on a wide selection of our new Fords. As low as 2.9% for 72 months on 22 models of F-150, Explorer, Expedition, Escape, and Edge. Plus, get an additional $1,500 in bonus cash on 22 Edges. Offer ends December 31st. Or if a nearly new Ford fits you better, you can trade in and trade up on a Ford Gold Certified or Blue Certified pre-owned car, truck, SUV, or crossover. Great warranties, 24-hour roadside assistance, and you take them home with a full tank of gas and fresh oil change. Come on in for our 2022 year-end sales event. Woody Anderson Ford. Jordan and Sparkman hope to see you soon.
We love our pets, and when we need boarding or vet services, we want the best. That's why we chose Paradise Pet Resort and Spa. Everything our pets needed, all in one place. Boarding for both dogs and cats. Doggy daycare, grooming and spa services, web cameras, and top-notch vet care, too. It's a true Paradise Pet Resort for your furry friends, serving all of North Alabama. Find out everything you need to know and book services online at ParadisePetResortandSpa.com. Located in Madison, just off 565 at Walt Triana, behind Cracker Barrel.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now more of Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on your home for Crimson Tide Sports 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Got a couple things to get through here coming up. One, Open Doors is a company that's releasing a new book, and it's going to be a guide to NIL for programs, and it's going to be an evaluation book. And we'll go over some of these numbers here in a little bit. Sports Illustrated, Ross Dellinger, our good friend, has gotten some of those numbers ahead of time. And so we'll go over like what each of the major positions are going to be worth, like estimated for Power 5 programs, so you can kind of know, like, if you are a program, what's it going to be or how much is it going to cost in NIL for a quarterback or a running back in the future. Jackson State, interesting things coming out now that Deion has left Jackson State. Some behind-the-scenes stuff kind of just bubble up as to why Deion Sanders probably took that Colorado job.
That's shocking.
Yeah, and we got that to get to. Let's go out to the phone lines, though. Richard is with us this morning. Good morning, Richard.
What's up, Richard?
Your Christmas tree, hey, not much. On your Christmas tree cakes, Coach Saban every morning has 2 Little Debbie, cakes with his, for breakfast. I think Brandon ought to go down and deliver him. He's got a lot of, recruiting going on and decisions to make on the staff. He may need something a little stronger than a Little Debbie cake and have the Christmas tree cake.
Well, I've heard he's on the rampage, so I'm sure he's trying to light a fire under some rear ends after they missed the playoff.
Maybe Dr. Pepper, too, and a couple of Christmas tree cakes. He may, get him kind of fired up there for the, for December.
Yeah, no question.
Scott,
go ahead.
I was going to say, Scott, you got the big one tonight, Iowa State and Iowa.
Yeah. Hey, the women last night, the Iowa women, Iowa State was 10. I think Iowa State was 10th ranked. Iowa was 16th. And the Iowa women got the best of the Iowa State women last night. Caitlin Clark, the outstanding three-point shooter, held her in there. So now the men have got to get it in this rivalry. I don't know where this one's at. I don't know if it's at Hilton.
I think it's at Iowa.
Okay, so it's at Carver. All right. That's like you talk about a museum. That's just like, it's a nice venue to watch again because there's no bad seat, but it's just not a great venue as far as fans go to get all excited.
Yeah, I saw where Iowa's scoring 84 and Iowa State's giving up 48.
Yeah, Iowa State likes to control the pace, too. They like to slow it down and make it a half-court game. We know Fran McCaffrey, he likes to shoot the rock.
So something, kind of the point of what I was reading is, something's got to give tonight, one way or the other. So
yeah, no question.
Out.
I know you and your traveling guys. Are you guys going to Houston?
I am not going to Houston. Actually, I'm going to go over and watch the Bama game with a Bulldog buddy of mine over in Atlanta, then catch Sam Walters playing against Bruce Pearl High School.
Oh, they're playing McEachern, huh?
Yep. They're one of those little one-day tournaments over on Saturday night. So
nice.
So I'm going to do a little, scouting or recruiting for Bama over there since he's already signed. Go over there and and then you got the fella from Dothan plays for McEachern now. The
J.D. Palm,
center, yeah. So you have Palm over there, playing for McEachern. And there's several other, it's like maybe an 8-team event, but I'm only going to catch the last 2 or 3 games Saturday night. It's like a kind of a split day, but it's I guess like 8 good teams from Atlanta playing kind of 8 teams from all over the U.S. So.
Sounds good.
And
sounds like a good day of hoops, man.
I'll shoot you I got the schedule. I'll shoot you the schedule here in a few minutes. So.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
See you later then. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Richard. So if you want, okay, let's go out to Johnny on his cell. Good morning, Johnny.
What's up, Johnny?
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
I'm still miffed at not picking the best 4 teams, but I do think we have the 2 snooze fests to watch on Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. There's no doubt in my mind that both these semifinals will be 17-point blowouts or more.
So you think that Michigan will rout TCU as well, huh?
Like a rented mule. They don't belong. I'm just sorry. TCU doesn't belong.
Yeah.
Their conference is 0-4 in the playoffs. Not that the Big Ten is that much better. They're like 4-8, and and they haven't done anything since Ohio State won it all. But this year they're you got to think one of them. I think Michigan again, and then when Georgia plays Michigan, then they'll beat them as bad as they want to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's even close. I think the only team with the athletes to match up with Georgia was Bama. And, obviously we screwed the pooch in Knoxville, missing that field goal at the end of the game and chasing the points at LSU. We easily – and I know we could have lost with Texas, blah, blah, blah. But, at the end of the day, I'm not excited about the Sugar Bowl, but nothing to it. It's just basically a spring game for us. I figure most of the studs opt out, rightfully so. And at the end of the day, we've got nothing to look forward to but spring football. And, there's a part of me that would say, I'd love to see Young and Anderson say, let's rewind this and let's get some let's get some changes on the coaching staff and see where we can't put a title together. But, because I don't, I know that you can rebuild this team really quick with the transfer portal and all that, and we have a solid, I guess by most consensus, number 1 recruiting class coming in. But at the end of the day, I don't know how many of these guys that are in the portal are being told to get in the portal.
Yeah, well, that's the difference. You got to look at it. There was over 1,000 guys going into the portal right now. There's over 1,200 guys in the portal. But you always have to ask how many of them How many of them were ushered
most
in
of the
or
time? I
guided
think this
into
is
the portal?
I would say 60 to 70% of the time or more. It's okay. Well, we need to have a mutual parting of the ways here. Adios, amigo.
Yeah, and so I like I said, but no, I don't have any. I mean, I think this will be a Kirby Smart coronation, and it's sad to say, but their defense looks a lot like the way we used to play defense, and that sucks because I would love to see a retro hire of like our disgraced Tennessee coach, that left there with bags of money. I would love to see him calling a defensive staff again.
Well, Johnny, I'll just say this: I don't think that's beyond the realm of possibility. And the bags of money, I don't think were Jeremy Pruitt. I think that was Philip Fulmer.
Well,
I wouldn't give. I'll just say this: I don't think Philip Fulmer would pass a lie detector test brought to you by Acme.
All I know is that Pruitt is a winning defensive coordinator and he calls a defensive program the way that we used to. I mean, he runs it the way we used to run it, and I would love to see a transformation back to that kind of defense and what Georgia has now. And that's the one thing that, I mean, as much as I have loved the offensive revolution and seeing our guys, win Heisman trophies and things like that, I still love the defense that you just didn't want to play them. At the end of the day, you said, crap, I had enough of this. And just like Tennessee said, they were way more physical on their defense than we were on our defense. And that's a terrible thing to say when you got Will Anderson and Dallas Turner and guys like that on that defense.
Mm-hmm.
It's a terrible indictment of where our defensive program has gone to.
Well, I would agree, and I think there's going to be wholesale changes there. And I know we really didn't talk about it. Scott mentioned it at the start of the show, but Will Anderson the last couple of days has won a couple of National Defensive Player of the Year awards, and he won another one last night, the Rotary Lombardi Award for the second straight year. But I thought it was interesting who introduced him and who was there with him, and he needs to be back on the field next year for Alabama, and that's Sal Sinceri.
Yes. Like I said, bring back the gang and put the defense back in order. And then the rest of with where we are offensively in our offensive scheme, now I don't want to see a B.O.B. I mean, send him to the Patriots because, I mean, Mac Jones, even as bad as he is, he would be the improvement of what Mac Jones is suffering through.
Well, I think Bill was good, not great. I mean, it's tough. He's following in the footsteps of Steve Sarkisian, who was an outstanding offensive coordinator, and I think Bill is more. It's just like
they're just different styles.
No, but it's interesting because when Steve was with the Falcons for 2 years, a lot of people criticized him and didn't think he was a great OC in the NFL, but he's a great offensive mind in college. And then the exact opposite happens with Bill O'Brien. Yep. They're saying Bill O'Brien's not a college guy, he's an NFL guy. It's just different football.
Yeah, send him back to the Patriots and let him help Mac Jones and the Patriots get better because Patricia's a joke at New England.
He's a defensive guy, man. Him and Joe Judge didn't need to be running that offense. Even Bill Belichick makes mistakes, and they've made a mistake, and they're going to have to rectify it. Nick Saban made some mistakes. He brought in, some guys on his staff. He did the same thing in 2018 where it wasn't a great staff, even though the talent almost overcame it. The talent couldn't overcome it this year. There was just they couldn't finish against Tennessee, and they didn't finish against LSU. And the LSU loss is really disturbing because LSU's a good football team, but they're far from a great team, and there's no reason Alabama should have lost that game. If they had played the game smarter, if they had run the football more, if they had tried to make the game easier on Bryce Young instead of him having to be Houdini, then Alabama probably would have won that game. But he did put him in front 5 times, and Wild Turkey Golding, he couldn't close the deal.
Like I said, that's the indictment of the year is Golding got out-coached by Tennessee staff and by LSU staff, and it's the fact that he was up for a national award was laughable.
Yeah, he was on the initial Broyles Award watch list.
Well, that's laughable.
Yep. All right, Johnny. Thanks for the phone call, bud.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, some good stuff there, some good points. Interesting stuff there. All right, so he mentioned name, image, and likeness. He mentioned the transfer portal and all of this. Where, let me find this here. Okay, here we go. Open Doors announces a new NIL book to help navigate the landscape. And in this book, you can look at it and you can say, okay, this is how much it is going to cost to get a Power 5 quarterback, or this is how much it's going to get a Pop 25 Power 5 running back for name, image, and likeness. If not to get them, but to pay them name, image, and likeness. A Power 5 quarterback is about $196,000 a year based on the average annual earnings of the top 25 players at that position.
Well,
$196,000 is what the average was this past year for a Power 5 quarterback.
Yeah, but I still think most of these deals should be where companies approach you and the university's not. You're already getting paid cost of attendance, which is pretty. It's not this kind of money, but it's still money. I don't understand.
This is the NIL platform. This is what it's going to cost.
But when you say that cost, you're talking about the university paying from their collective, which is booster driven.
Right.
And to me, there needs to even be a cap on that, where everybody's making the same. Because again, to me, you can't have a caste system. And and where everybody ought to make the same from the collectives, and then if a company, a Ford or somebody wants to pay a guy and give him a car and pay him, to do a commercial, then I think you should be able to do that.
So Open Doors is a company, and only companies that use this, only universities that use Open Doors are going to get this book that has this. It's going to be distributed every January and July to college athletic departments as conferences, NIL collectives, and talent agencies. Mm-hmm. Basically, it's going to be a media kit or a sales kit that's going to go to these schools. A top 25 Power 5 running back earn around $130,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So those are your quarterbacks and your running backs. So about $190,000 for a quarterback, $130,000 for a running back in college is the average. I mean, some of them are going to make way more. Like a Bryce Young, going to make way more than $196,000.
Oh Lord!
Yeah, just like any other job, and it is a job now when you're getting paid that much. All right, the other big thing was that we wanted to mention was the Jackson State, Deion Sanders. A lot of people giving him flack for taking the Colorado job
because he ain't swag.
Because he ain't swag. He talks so much. Well,
he just pays for everything out of his own pocket.
Yeah, now it's coming out that Jackson State basically
fleeced him.
Took everything from him while he was there. Part of his contract was that, Deion Sanders, after Jackson State hit $30,000
in
ticket sales, he would get a percentage of that money. Never got it. Jackson State kept all that money. Deion Sanders worked out a lucrative TV deal for Jackson State. Jackson State, the university itself, declined. Didn't want any part of it. The new locker room, the tennis courts,
paid for by
the players'
Deion.
lounge.
All of it.
Used all of his own money. Mm-hmm. All of the fancy meals that Jackson State ate, Deion paid for. When they went to the Celebration Bowl, which is it's the SWAC
HBCU.
and the MEAC conference in Atlanta, just like it is in any other bowl game where the athletic department gets money from participating in that bowl game. The university itself kept the money, didn't give anything back to the athletic department. Everyone now probably can understand a little bit better why Deion Sanders decided to get out of Jackson State.
Yeah, go live in Boulder, Colorado. Pretty scenery and $5 million that they're actually going to pay you. And they'll actually pay for your meals and not steal the money from you.
Man, he ain't swag.
Yeah.
Let's get a break in. Boy, just some great conversations today. Brittany Griner, I mean, just all kinds
Hey, Blaine
of stuff.
Crane, brother of Jake Crane, part of Crane and Company, one of the tweets of the day so far, as he said, this is the only WNBA trade to ever make headlines nationally.
World, probably.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get a break in. Tomorrow's headlines today.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We're beginning to wind things down quickly now. A couple of wrecks we're trying to clear. Parkway and Green Cove had an injury. Countess and Rose Ridge, that's near Baltimore Hill and the curve. That one ended up being a no injury. Had a stalled vehicle, Martin Luther King east of 53. Sounds like that one's been moved. And we had one on 231 at Inspiration Point near Meridianville. Not much to it. It should be moved pretty quick. Snelling specializes in the placement of admin, accounting, and medical professionals. Need a job? Or maybe you need an employee? Snelling can help. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane, Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-306-8158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-306-8158. That's 800-306-8158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-306-8158. Again, 800-306-8158.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well to try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing: helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourself Selfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
Sports medicine. I know when you hear that, you think athletes. It's more than that, and the doctors from TOC Sports know that. That's why they've seen the need and met it. Needs like partnering with more area high schools to provide coverage from sports medicine certified orthopedic physicians and keeping thousands of kids in the game, but also being there for those unexpected bumps and bruises, or when that bad knee finally gives out. TOC Sports is a specialty group of 6 orthopedic physicians dedicated to making sure you keep pace in your active life. Those 6 names, Doctors Michael Cantrell, Brian Carter, Stan Davis, John Greco, James Huey, and Larry Parker. From top to bottom, the physicians of TOC Sports have you covered for any orthopedic need. Hey, you have your choices in doctors or how far you want to drive to see one. There's no need for that. Trust the doctors who care for Huntsville and Madison City schools, Havoc Hockey, Alabama A&M, and numerous other programs. But trust them because they're committed to making you feel better. Call TOC Sports today, 256-539-2728, or check them out at visittoc.com on Facebook and Twitter.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, for those that grew up in our era, when I say our era, I'm 49 years old.
I'm 47. I'll be 48 in April.
I remember coming home from school and hearing great things like this.
Woo, you sure got to climb a lot of steps to get to this Capitol building here in Washington. Well, I wonder who that sad little scrap of paper is.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long journey to the capital city. It's a long, long wait while I'm sitting in committee. But I know I'll be a law someday. At least I hope and pray that I will. But today I am still just a bill.
Gee, Bill, you certainly have a lot of patience.
There you go.
Schoolhouse Rock. Remember
I'm just
those
a
days?
Bill, living here on Capitol Hill.
The creator of Schoolhouse Rock passed away.
R.I.P.
Yeah, so today, that is sad. I mean, I remember Schoolhouse Rock. I remember watching it coming home from school. I remember on Saturdays and stuff. But, Schoolhouse Rock. Just a, sad time.
A lot of memories, man.
A lot of memories. Anyway, other news and notes.
Braves make a signing.
They do. They make a signing and they lose one. Kenley Jansen is
goes
gone.
to the Red Sox for 2 years and $32 million. Basically, the money he made for Atlanta last year. He made a 1-year, $16 million deal. And the Braves let him go. And that was expected. Now, we'll see what happens with Dansby Swanson. I couldn't believe Xander Bogaerts. Holy Toledo. Guy's 30 years old. Really good player for the Red Sox. But the Padres.
He won 2 World Series rings.
Yeah,
with
but with the Padres, lose out on the Aaron Judge sweepstakes. And they pay Bogaerts. And this is crazy, Scott. He's 30. 11 years, $280 million. So he's going to be paid through the time he's 41 years old.
Yeah, the Dansby Swanson one. I know Chicago has interest in Dansby Swanson.
Yeah.
Others do as well. Just have to wait and see how that one plays out. But, yeah, Major League Baseball. But the Braves do add the Detroit pitcher. He's one of the best relief pitchers for the Detroit Tigers this past season.
Yep, it's Joe Jimenez.
Yeah.
And he will be, and it was really a trade more likely, but still, he was an outstanding middle reliever. He's only 27 years old. He had one of the top 5 strikeout rates per 9 innings in baseball last year.
Yeah.
And he had his best season as a pro.
He struck out 33.3% of the batters he faced last year.
Nearly a third of the guys he faced, he struck out. And so, and then I think we all know Iglesias is probably going to take over the closer role now that Kenley Jansen's moved on. They got Iglesias at the trade deadline from the Anaheim Angels a year ago. Now, and it's going to be interesting too. Besides what the Braves decide to do with Dansby Swanson, you'd think they were going to, if they lose Dansby, that they're going to add a bat somehow, maybe an outfielder. We don't know, because I just don't think you can have Ozuna out there in left field. He's got to be a DH at best.
All right, so there's some baseball news. We give the NCAA a hard time
and
a lot of times, but we all know what happened at the University of Virginia at the end of the college football season.
Terrible.
The NCAA did announce yesterday that they will allow players whose college eligibility has lapsed after the 2022 season to earn an extra year of playing time at the University of Virginia. So everything that happened there, because they didn't get to play their final 2 games of the season, and everything that happened, if it was your final year of eligibility, you get 1 more year at the University of Virginia. So the NCAA doing good things there. All right, we got to take a break. Or not take a break. We do got to take a break until tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we do. Scott live from the road.
Yeah, and I won't need somebody to come free me over a Marine.
Biden's a dumbass.
Hey folks, this is Arthur C., managing partner